Hi everyone, I'm Emma Caton and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to talk about the Great Auk. Now the name may sound familiar to some people and some of you may have actually seen one of these birds in a natural history museum, but in case you haven't, here's what one looks like. Now this is a photo I took the other week when I was at the Natural History Museum in London, and this individual is thought to have been captured in Iceland. The Great Auk was a flightless seabird that used to be spread across the whole of the North Atlantic. It was the largest bird in the auk family at the time, up to 70 centimetres in length. The current largest auk species is the thick-billed murre, which can be up to 50 centimetres. Great auks are very vulnerable to passing sailors because they moved very slowly when out of the water and they returned to the same sites every single year to breed. The locations of many of the breeding sites became common knowledge and they provided Atlantic travellers with a food source for centuries. Later, they were also killed for their feathers for stuffing mattresses. During the 18th century, the demand for feathers got so high that men would stay on islands with breeding auks for entire breeding seasons. Funk Island, which lies 60 kilometres off the northeast coast of Newfoundland, once held the largest known colony of great auks and was once estimated to have around 100,000 breeding pairs. Their large population size meant that slaughter continued on the island for 2 centuries. Although many people warned what would happen if this mass slaughtering continues, their efforts were in vain, and by 1800 there were no more great auks on the island. By the early 19th century, the increasing rarity of great auks became common knowledge, and so there was a greater demand for specimens. Sailors flocked to the last remaining colonies in order to kill the birds for their skins and eggs to sell at a high price. It was on the islet Stac-an-Armin, St Kilda, Scotland in the early 1840s when the last known individual in Britain was killed. Apparently, 3 men from St Kilda spotted a lone great auk standing out among the other seabirds. They captured it, tied it up and kept it alive for 3 days. On the 4th day, a great storm hit, and believing it was the bird that had conjured the storm, they beat it to death. Some sources claim the great auk eventually went extinct in 1844, when 3 men killed the last breeding pair on Eldey Island, Iceland. In the effort to capture the birds, the egg of the last individual is reported to have been crushed under the boot of one of the men. The International Union for Conservation of Nature, IUCN, recognises the extinction year to be 1852, after claims that an individual was spotted on the Grand Banks of Newfoundland. Since then, there hasn't been a valid report of a great auk sighting. Hunting was the main cause of the bird's decline, but it is thought that the collection from museum specimens was the final tipping point. As an article in New Scientist said, ironically, the end came not as a result of commercial exploitation, but from science. Today, the great auk has become a key example of how uncontrolled hunting and capturing can lead to the eventual demise of an entire species. Thank you for watching my videos. If you want to see more wildlife-related videos, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next week.